Okay, forgot. Hello, everyone. Let me just. Okay. Okay. What I wanted to do. Okay. So I see we have 8 people. So when you just sign in, just say hello. And then we'll begin shortly thereafter. Can everyone hear me? Okay, great. Okay, great. Hello, Copper Sierra, Bridget, Rachel. Great. Oh, wow. Hi, Robert. Hi, Goddess. Bad Girl Gone Goddess. How are you? Let's see. Some of you seem new from last week, or maybe you're just saying hi this week. Was there anyone who was not here last week for the first part? Hi, Kiyoko. Hello. Okay. So, like today is just we're finishing up, and then we're gonna from where we left off to last week. Okay, Robert. So the last week is chat is posted on my channel so that you can watch. No problem, Rachel. And so you can go back and get the first part, like we talked about, and I'll just kind of go over it briefly. That we went over how to communicate with your angels. We discussed, let's see, these 4 areas. So we discussed like the channels of angelic communication. We talked about how to create sacred alignment before you do a reading for yourself in 4 areas: spiritual, the mental, emotional, and physical. Hi, Maureen. And then we talked about, or I shared how I prepare. And then we talked a lot about getting to the heart of the question. And the difference between a predictive reading and a reading where you're creating your reality, wherein you're asking questions that sort of help you to understand, or you're looking to understand how you can achieve a goal or how you can create the dream and the reality that you want. And I had some questions that people, just a few actually, had left for me from the last chat. So I was going to answer those. And then let's see. I want to talk about meditation today and the different kinds of meditation you can use. And then you'll do a reading together. I put the spread. Now, I think I put the spread on my channel, on my Facebook page. I put it on the YouTube page. I posted it yesterday. I also put it in below the video from last week and today's video that went out, I think, can somebody tell me, I think it's at the bottom of this video now. Let me check, or it may not be. Yeah, the thing about these live things, you can't like input the information beforehand. So let's see here. Yeah, there's no way for me, to know how to do that. Okay, so was everyone, any of you able to get the 5 questions for the spread beforehand? Oh, great. So Maureen, and that's an idea too. I could go into the chat and do the same thing. Never thought of that. Thank you, Maureen. So for doing that. So those will be the 5 questions that we'll be diving into, and everyone will be able to share. So what I would probably suggest you doing is, copying those questions, copy and paste, and then put it open up another document so that you can have it to work with, maybe from another device. I mean, writing is one thing, but I was thinking maybe you could copy and paste and open up a document on your device, whether it's your phone or tablet, and just put them there, and then that way you'll have it to look at. Okay. So while I'm waiting, I really appreciate that, Maureen. Thank you so much. So let me go back and let me just kind of quickly review, because I'm not going to be able to, go over in detail. So when we talked about, just so that those of you who weren't here will be able to follow along. So this is information you probably know in any 101, psychic development. How to communicate. So how the angels, or the channels that the angels communicate with us. And those are 4 areas: clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and claircognizance. Just very quickly, claircognizance is sort of like that aha moment where your knowing is activated as inspiration, insights, clarity, or a confirmation. Clairsentience is, these feelings and senses, and that you are aware of, but there is nothing happening in the physical world, for you to have that, to be aware of that sense or to be feeling something. So for me, like the clairsentience, with our regular 5 senses, if I touch a desk, there is a physical object, and then I'm aware of the type of sensation that's creating. Or if somebody's cooking, if you're cooking something and you can you smell it, but with the clairsentience, there's not a physical representation there. So this is coming out of your awareness, your intuition. And as I said last time, I developed an awareness, an intuitive awareness of when something has nuts in it. I made a phone call. I ordered Chinese food, or it was Thai food, and it had nuts. And I hung up the phone, and I didn't know. And as soon as I hung up the phone, I started to itch and started to have the sensations that I normally would have. And I went, oops, I wonder, does that have nuts? I called and they said yes. And so we changed the order. They altered it for me. The clairaudience was talking about, it's about, hearing. There's inner and outer. Possibly you may hear all of a sudden a song or phrase of words comes to mind. It feels like it's being placed in your, sort of in your mouth. and which is kind of different because with the claircognizance, you don't feel, you just know it. You don't feel the words coming into your mouth. You know it. So then with the visual, there's eyes open, eyes closed, and I think this is pretty normal for all of us to understand, but sometimes be aware that people have different ways of seeing. Like I see drawings, and they can move, and I see words and I see symbols. So mine is sort of more of a soul language. There's a language of symbols that I see in my mind's eye, or words that are filling in thoughts and ideas that I'm saying, or they're symbolic in their meaning. And I've just learned how to read all of that, where some people may just have this picture that they see of things happening or not happening. So everybody has a different way. So we were talking about those. So creating a sacred alignment before a reading, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. This is you probably do this in some way, but being aware of your own ritual and maybe being aware of the components that you are tapping into might be useful and helpful to you in order to really help you to feel more in alignment for the reading you're about to do for yourself. So for instance, we talked about the spiritual alignment. You think about what do you do that helps you to feel inspired for a reading. So we said saging, lighting candles, essential oils, meditating, prayer, calling on your spirit guides. These things are always meditating is going to be in a lot of things. Mental, the vibration, focus. What's your focus or intention for the reading? So, you want to clear that negative chatter, setting aside your own stuff. Deep breathing, body awareness meditation to clear them and prepare your mind. Getting to the heart of a question. That means to really think about the question you want to ask and what kind of question are you asking? Are you feeling resistance or alignment when you do that? And this resistance or alignment, I guarantee you, if you start thinking about the kind of question in terms of predictive or creating your future. So where you're predicting, you're going, should I, will I, is this? And notice how you feel when you ask. You're usually in a place where you're not calm, your mind is not clear because you're worried. When people want to predict the future, they're worried. And forgetting that you are an extension of the Creator. Therefore, you have the gift to create. And that's why you're given free will. And when you start asking, how can I? What would it take what changes do I need to make in order to realize my potential and things like on this line, this starts to create an inner sense of alignment because you're tapping into the infinite potential and your inner being is going to be glad to interact with you because it understands the desire to innovate, to create. And this idea of fear, what's going to go wrong, is something that's your soul, your source does not resonate with. And so you won't find the comfort that you're looking for. So especially in times like this, if you're, that's what we call guesswork. I was talking about this today. You spend your time guessing, is this going to happen? Should I do this? You are not really asking yourself, what am I passionate about? And how do I want to express this passion in a way that it serves people who have a need for who resonate with what I'm doing. So, all of these things you got to think about when whatever you're doing, is it creating alignment or resistance? So emotional, what kind of energy do I wish to transmit, channel through my reading? Just thinking about that. Every decision and action is an act of love, choosing to align with love in the things that you perform in the spiritual, mental, and physical preparations for creating sacred alignment. Your readings are for healing and creating joy and peace, creating. Um, I mentioned something about energy grids. Um, I'll talk about that a little bit later when I go over the reading, review how I just prepare for a reading. And guided meditations. Hi, Raylene. Wow, just needed water. This is probably not going to clear. If I had to sing, that would be a vocal nightmare. All right, so, and guided meditations. Guided meditations are different from just, say, breathing or body awareness, because a guided meditation can really help you to make that emotional connection or or a specific energy. If I was seeing a sacred flame, or I'm, sitting on the side of by a stream, I mean, this is going to create, your mind is going to respond to the imagery, right, with emotion. So in that way, guided meditations can help set your emotional alignment. Physical matter. So where do I feel most safe and comfortable doing my readings? That's location, an altar, a table, objects like crystals and decks, oracle, tarot, pictures, statues, candles, cleansing, so how you create this sacred space in order to create sacred alignment through those three: the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, and physical. All right. So here's where I'll just talk about how I prepare. Now, hopefully I'm not going too fast, but because we covered this, and you can also go back and watch the other video, when people come to see this video, I don't want them to see the same thing as their part two. So just let me know if everybody is following and you're good to go. I can go on. So how I prepare. And so I usually, like today, at first I just started off with breathing, just to clear the clutter, just mental, just focus, mental. I knew that I was going to do, like this morning, the weekly reading. So I just, first I just sat and found a very comfortable place, that's the physical, to sit and be still. And then the breathing was just to disconnect my mind from the patterns of thoughts and everything else that was happening before. So I just focused on breathing, rhythmic breathing, 5 in, hold, 5 out. There are all kinds of things that you can do. And then I did, and the thing about the rhythmic breathing and just counting, and then with my eyes closed, sometimes you might start to see things and information comes through, like, just a sense of what was going to unfold, a sense, not a specific, but just a sense. And I just was observing and paying attention to that. And, I'm going to go ahead and talk about this meditation piece while I'm here talking about this, because this was the part that was supposed to be today. So I think this is really important. So what does meditation do? It teaches you or helps you to observe and understand rather than only reacting to the conditions or circumstances around you. Okay? So hear that again, to observe and understand rather than reacting. So therefore, I'm going to say this a little bit later, but it never hurts to hear it. This is something you should do every day, no matter what kind of meditation. You should do it every day. And I'll just jump down there. Be consistent with this. Commit to a specific time at the earliest possible point in your day, especially upon awakening. Make it a habit to take a deep breath or meditate before each encounter as a reminder to maintain an awareness of your soul's guidance, purpose, and goal, which you need to honor and respect above everything else going on around you. All the agendas around you, you that breath will reconnect you with that meditation practice of observing and not reacting, but being aware of what it is that what your purpose is and what you're there to create, and how, and and so forth. Um, so going back again, meditation helps you to remember that you create your reality from within the perspective you are receiving and allowing. So, however your perspective has been cultivated, that's the point from which you are creating your reality. Okay? And when you meditate, you're seeking clarity. You're being present for the one purpose of clarity, and to develop your awareness. And so you may be, as you're observing, you can also see what is start to notice what is at play within you. What you'll be aware of the ego patterns, as well as the potential that is available for you. It helps to reinforce what you seek. It helps to reinforce that what you seek is for your reality to be in balance with you, rather than trying to adjust yourself to be in balance with your outer reality. That is one of the huge mistakes in manifestation. We're always trying to fix the outer reality. We're always trying to find balance with everything outside of us. That's like looking for love in all the wrong places. Instead of asking how your reality can get in balance with your soul's purpose, agenda, and goals. And that's not excluding or sort of bulldozing over what everybody else needs. It really isn't. But by being aware of what's important to you and how you need your outer reality to become a reflection. See, once you get that, then automatically your outer reality, over time, as you cultivate this practice of being aware of yourself, your truth from within, that truth will become reflected outside of you. So you can't ever try to tweak the outside. That can't be the goal. The goal should be to know thyself better and to be in the world sort of exemplifying that knowing, that spiritual knowing. So that's the last point I put there. Know that you are the creator of your reality. So meditation helps you to reinforce that, for you to know that you are the creator of your reality and experiences. So here's some just, meditation techniques or types of meditation that I've thought about. So just simply deep breathing, right? Simple deep breathing. As I said before, just to break up the pattern of your attention to resistance, creating shallow breathing. Because when you're not breathing, when you're having those shallow breaths, you are not getting, so as I put here, oxygen is the source of divine information, clarity, intuition, and insights. So the shorter your breath, it's like cutting yourself off, and you're from oxygen, and your brain is not going to function at its best, right? And so the consciousness, or the perspective of consciousness that you're dealing with, shallow breathing is survival mode. You're anxious, you're irritated, you're frustrated, and that's how the negative effects of your personality can come out. When you take that deep breath, you really draw in source, spirit, that higher level of information. It helps to clear your energy fields. It just breaks that pattern and pulls and draws in that higher light content. Rhythmic or timed breathing, I talked about that before, is, one way. You're just focusing on the breath, 5 counts in through the nose and out. That's another way to just meditate. You're putting your attention on the timed or rhythmic breathing. Let's see, the chakra balance meditation. So this is something I would do next, or quite often. I've said it before. When you don't do your chakras enough, then that's when you also will notice that you get a little crazy, or you get a little, and what I mean by that, you get a little irritated, or you find yourself not feeling very grounded or connected. You feel sort of out of sync with things. And usually for me, when I notice that, it's like, oh, I think it's been a while since I've done my chakra balancing, I'll say to myself, and so therefore, better do that. Just take a deep breath right now, just after processing all of that. And just feel that little bit of relief, even if you don't think you're getting a lot of it. The chakras, and you're saying that you may feel those 2 areas, specifically releasing those 2 chakra areas. You may be releasing something, is a thought that's coming to me. I wouldn't worry about it, but like if those 2 areas if you're feeling those 2 areas separately, you're probably releasing energy there, so that you're in a process of healing, letting something go. So if you're doing your chakras often enough, then that should clear up after a while, or it should balance out. And also, you may be going through your own ascension process as well. And so those 2 chakras may be catching up. So it has something to do with releasing and healing at the same time. This process of, feels like the energy's elevating, and then at the same time it's releasing. Yeah. And sometimes, I don't know, did you say when you're doing your chakra balancing, then that would be the case. But other times, if you're not doing your chakra balancing and you're doing work with someone, then it may be that those areas are something that you need to pay attention to for that person you're working with, or something like that. Okay. While breathing in time, doing your chakras, pay attention to the energy of each chakra and the information that you may become aware of while connecting to each. This awareness of information becomes the meditation focus. So you're not trying to see anything with your chakras, meaning like, oh, let's see if I'm going to get information. Your purpose is to balance your chakras, to ask, the archangels to balance your chakras. But if things come up, then that's a good time for you to pay attention. Okay, well, each of the chakras have different colors. Okay, and when I try to write, I get dizzy colors. Yeah, so I don't always see the colors of my chakras. So some people may. So that may be what you're experiencing. But if they're circling, yes, because they are literally spinning. The energy of each chakra, it's turning. It's like a wheel, but like a funnel, and it is spinning. So the vibration is also that spinning, and them coming into alignment with the frequency at which they're meant to vibrate when they are clear and open. Okay, and so you're seeing the colors, it's the same thing. Okay, so another type of awareness would be body sound meditation, where you're just, Because I'm answering someone's question with this meditation from last week about feeling stressed, or I think a lot of dealing with a lot of negativity. And, this is why it's important to do the meditations often, like daily, especially when things are great, so that when things come up, you then have enough practice and support to help you to ground and connect. Okay. Another thing you may do, so like body awareness is just going through your body. You could do the rhythmic breathing and, and breathe into that area of your body and just keep working until you cover your entire body, or you can just listen to sound and do the count of breath. Some people use mantras with the meditation. You can use crystals and meditation. So, just connecting with the energy of the crystal and just paying attention to the interaction of vibration or whatever occurs with the crystals. I usually feel a lot of warmth, or working on certain areas. When you're meditating, the crystal will start to work on different areas where it's guided, and where it's that's its thing, like its medicinal sort of property. So you may feel it doing those kinds of things, but it's a way to, you're just doing the breathing, the rhythmic breathing, and you're just relaxing and paying attention. Now, here's another great thing, journaling and meditation. So this is something that we learned when I was with Biddy Tarot, and I thought it was so awesome, which is you can just do, sit down and whatever you're feeling and just journal about it, just express it through whatever form. It could just be just freestyle, or it may come out as poetry for you, all kinds of things, but that's up to you. But just as a way to reach some kind of clarity, to open and yourself up, empty out. Or you could pull a tarot card around this question: what's coming into my awareness about what I am experiencing or feeling? And this is something that I've been doing myself personally. You could do what's coming into my awareness about what I'm experiencing or feeling. So you could pull a tarot card. You could shuffle the cards while thinking of that question, and pull a card, and then start journaling with the card. It could be an oracle card. And as it connects to the emotions or the experience of negativity, it's still, again, you should never just do something because you're feeling negative. You should also be doing this when you're feeling positive. You should be doing it every day, so that it doesn't matter. You just have this wonderful practice that will always be there for you. And here's another way, and this is the one that Bridget at Biddy Tarot suggested, which was you can start journaling first, freestyle, until you reach a block or you feel stuck. Then, and then only then, pull a tarot card or oracle card to help you, to clarify, and then to give you a prompt to start journaling some more and getting deeper into the root of what's going on. Then you can continue journaling until you feel another block or you're not feeling satisfied, and then pull another card. And then you keep doing this until you feel like whole and complete. You'll know, like you'll feel like the energy just closing, or a sense within you, aha kind of thing. All right. That one is really powerful to use. Now, the last thing I would put here is using creativity as a form of meditation. All right. So painting, gardening, walking, meditation in nature, playing an instrument, yoga, qigong, tai chi, dancing, movement, trance dancing. Okay. So these are other ways, all kinds of ways And I would say that you should have one that you really do, like every day, as the one that whichever one that really makes you feel at ease, grounded, centered, an observer of life rather than someone who reacts. So the reactionary thing is like you get a phone call, somebody says something to you, you're all off. You pick up the mail and you see this thing, oh, you're all off. And so that you want to find that thing that always helps you to feel connected. It grounds you right away. It just opens up a whole portal to information that you can start to get back into the flow of your higher consciousness and be in the process of creating rather than reacting. Okay. Okay, so there was something I kind of skipped up there that I want to go back over quickly. Let's see how I can condense this, because this is what I did last week, but this was about a reading that's where you're predicting the future. And I had this list of questions I read, but I'll just read them quickly. And these are questions, you don't have to answer them, but there's just questions within yourself as I'm reading them. How do they strike you? Like, do you feel alignment or resistance? Do you feel anxiety or do you feel like your heart just opens up? So predicting the future type, do you believe your future is fated? Do you believe you are not responsible for what can happen next? Do you believe that life is happening to you? How does it make you feel to think that life is out of your control? What kind of emotions do you experience around this kind of belief? Do you feel powerless or empowered when you hear this? What do you think about your future? What you think about your future? Do you feel resistance or alignment more readily? Creating your future would be, do you believe in and want to be able to make choices concerning your future? Do you get excited about the possibility of creating the outcome you desire? Do you believe life is happening because of you? Are you ready to take responsibility for what happens next in your life? What kind of emotions come up for you about taking a leadership role and responsibility in creating your future? Does the possibility of creating your future cause you to feel empowered, or is this like an insane idea to you? When you think about creating your future, do you feel this is in alignment with your truth or that this is out of alignment with it? So a predictive question will begin with, will I? He or they, will they? Will they come back to me with this? Will I, be able to do this? Will I get pregnant? When will I get a job? Where will I meet my soulmate? These kinds of questions kind of, it's like taking the power out of your hands, because if something's not happening, there is something that you're doing that's opposing that. And that's what you really need to observe and to become aware of, and then seek through your types of questions, how can I get out of my own way, for example, or how can I change the pattern of relationships that I'm receiving? You can start off with a simple question to say about relationships. You can start off with, what is coming into my awareness about this situation? Then pull a card and then see what comes out of that. Then ask another question because of what you just experienced, and let it just question flow out of that. Creating your reality questions begin with, how can I? What changes do I need to incorporate? What's coming into my awareness? What action steps do I need to take to improve my chances of getting a job or getting the specific job? What do I need to be aware of? Things like this, so that you are creating your own reality. All right, so let's go ahead and um, go to, let me see, let me just look at some, there weren't many questions, and I think I answered some of these. Okay, someone asked this question, so I'm going to do this the Q&A for right now. When I receive signs from the angels, I hear, yes, well, what happened? What's going on, really? So this is from Lula Maria, which she posted in the chat uh, last week. When I receive signs from the angels, I hear and feel the signs, for example, like a yes, to talk to someone. But when I do it, the result sometimes turns painful with a lesson. So I wonder why that happens. Because for me, I prefer to run away from the pain, to find peace. So, okay. So, one of the things I would pay attention to is like when you're given a sign to, I don't know, I guess what I'm getting from you is like, I'm feeling something, I need to talk to somebody about something. And when I do it, I don't get the result. So what I would tell you to think about is when I know I'm supposed to speak to somebody, like, and I don't mean just because I'm talking to my angels, but because I also want you to not think so much about I'm talking to my angels, because you're always communicating with the universe and it with you. So usually when I feel this strong sense of love in my heart, it just, I don't know, it just opens up, and that is the platform. It is the sacred space. It is the sacred alignment. It is the channel. This channel of love is a bridge. So that platform of love that I feel is coming from source, through me, through that person, through source, through that person, through my heart, it's just, I mean, we don't even know if it has a direction of spinning one way or the other. It just may be doing both at the same time. But when that is there, I know what to say. And I know that the hearts are open, and that they won't misunderstand me. So if you were afraid to say something, then I would tell you probably that's not the time to do it, because you have to be in that when it's really right for you to say it, when it's right for them, when they're ready for it, the love will extend from them to you, and you will feel it. Okay, all right. So let's see, Marley Mar. Let me see. I always get a letter, then I try to find the word, and I'm not sure. It comes from sources, the full word. So I feel like, I don't know if Marley is here, but seems similar to what happens to me. Like I do sometimes get a letter. Like the first time ever, my first guidance was when I started doing a read, was the letter T. And claircognizance just told me, I just knew it meant trust. Now, I could have sat there, and I think I remember doing it going, is that trust? And when you do that, when you doubt knowing claircognizance, then you're just going to get more doubts, and the energy of doubt coming to you. So I would tell you to go with the first thing that comes to you. If you just see a letter as a symbol, go with that, and then trust that, okay? If you start talking or writing about it, or describing it, because there's an energy, like the clairs work together. So there may be a clairsentience of feelings around that letter. And once you start describing the feeling, see, the matrix opens. But whatever the symbol is sort of like the lock to the door and or the key, and then you turn it, and then you start by describing it with all the different clairs will start to come into place. And that's when the information in that energy matrix just opens up. Okay. All right. So let me just go back over here and check to see if there were some questions. So what about white candles? Meditation. Someone said I should try that, but I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, I've seen that suggested about staring at a white candle flame, I guess. You know, you can light a white candle and then set an intention for that candle to hold a space for you while you meditate. I couldn't stare at it, but I have tried. So I probably wouldn't be the one to ask about that because I tried it, but I found that the flame kind of burned my eyes, and I was sitting far back from it, but I don't know, not burned it, but it just was a little uncomfortable. So let's see. And Scorpio, I think I answered her question. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's continue on from here. So now we let me see. Let's take a look at the reading. So, I was talking about how I prepare. I guess I got to go back there before I go on. Let me just. So now that now I will do a chakra meditation. And then sometimes I do the chakra meditation, or I'll just do a guided meditation, or just sit. First I start with the breathing, and then I may do a guided meditation. If it's going to be guided, it's usually going to be my chakras. And I do the 12 fifth dimensional chakras. So I put a meditation a couple of weeks ago on the chakras. I also think I put in the link of some video, last week's video, Diana Cooper's Hay House's 12 chakra meditation that Hay House published on YouTube. I light candle, and I sage my space. When I'm saging my space, I'm calling in my guides, my angels. I call in the fire dragons to clear the space, place a firewall around me of love. I will call on the deep blue dragons who work with Archangel Michael, and to clear my energy field and the space around my building, above and below. One morning I woke up and I just could feel like I had this energy that I was just kind of like, I don't know, unsettled. And I was talking to somebody online, and I thought to myself, are you feeling this? And they were like, yeah. And then I talked to somebody else, and I realized something just was going on energetically. And so I called on the deep blue dragons to clear my energy field, and just went away. And I always call on Archangel Michael to hold the space with the higher dimensions for the reading, and then the energy grid. So once I feel like I'm really grounded and in this higher consciousness, I'm channeling that, then I will call in the energy grid for the reading. Okay. So I will call on first I call on Source, God, to overlight the reading. I call up the energy grid. So I talked about this last week, but basically I just believe that there's this, because of what I saw, that there's like a grid or a matrix of energy that is facilitating whatever it is that we're creating in our lives, and whatever it is that we're focusing on. So like if you have a project, that project has an energy grid of unlimitedness. And it also is focused on through the channel of your beliefs. So when you call up that energy grid, you can tap into, let's say you're having a block in that project, and when you call on that energy grid, the information, if there's a block in there, that information will show up. Your body has a grid. Everything physical has a grid, and every thought or idea has a grid as well. So I call that up for the reading, like say for the week. I'm going to do the weekly readings, or for the day when I do the daily card messages, or for a client, I call up the energy grid for their reading, intending that if I don't know specifically what their questions are, intending that what their higher self has orchestrated for this reading will come through clearly. And then I call in the I am presence of myself or the client, my higher self's soul, your monad and your higher self, and then the personality. So I call it the spiritual and the physical essence of my personality that is here that's focused in the three-dimensional reality, but as well as in all of the facets and dimensions in which we exist as well, our soul, right? So, and then I call in my God team. So that's all of your guides, angels, fairies, whatever you work with, that would be your God team, all led and directed by God. And then I focus on my question and the spread. So, for instance, we take a look at, before I do that, just do these last two things. So I'll choose a deck that will work with that question, and crystals to that sort of the energy. I just choose them intuitively. I can feel the crystal like draw me towards like a magnet, and so I just choose the crystal that I ask which crystal should I work with for the energy of this reading, or that is in alignment with the energy of this reading, because the crystals will amplify or bring out whatever it is that you're seeking, right? In terms of healing, they amplify your ability to hear the message and to also draw it out or heal it in certain ways. So, all right, so going back to this, how do I create my questions? So I'm just going to take a look at the questions that we have for this spread today, and we're just going to go ahead and get into it. So you can see in the chat earlier the 5 questions, and so I just call this basic. You can call this a 5 elements reading. But the purpose of this reading was I wanted us to be able to find a way to make sense of what's going on with ourselves during the coronavirus pandemic. And so the first one is higher consciousness, or ether. What spiritual lessons are coming into my awareness as a result of the coronavirus? Okay. Spirit, fire, my passions, my life purpose, right? How can I best channel my passions at this time for the greater good and my own personal fulfillment? Mental, air, the element of air. What am I struggling to express or communicate during this time? Emotional, water. What feelings are surfacing, and what kind of energy am I creating as a result? Because we want to be aware of the kind of energy. That emotional body tells us what kind of energy we're putting out there. Okay? And the physical, earth element. What activities will help bring more joy in my life so that I can feel creative and productive. Now you see how all of these questions are not predicting anything, but they're asking how you can fulfill the potential you're meant to fulfill within you, through you. How can you create the outcome that it would be the future result that is in alignment with you? How can you look at yourself and see how you can best position yourself or realign yourself to connect or to manifest the outcomes you're looking for? And when people want to predict the future, it's as if they think it's out of their hands. They think it's something that's fated, and that they just have that they are doing something wrong, and so they want to know, what am I doing wrong? Now, if you ask, what am I doing right, or if you want to know how to do the right thing to get there, you would ask, how do I create that? How do I shift myself in order to be in position for what I deserve? And here comes the thing. So when you start, instead of like wondering what's going to happen to you, start wondering, what is my potential? What, because who else is going to answer this question but you, ever? So the other way, you never ask that question. You're just worried about what somebody has told you to do. God, why would God do that? Like, why would every step of your life be about what God wants? And the only way I can understand this, why, is because what God wants, but it doesn't make me happy. But what is it? Because you wouldn't need to ask what God wants if you knew what made you happy, because then you would know what God wants, which is for you to be happy. So this, and also, I don't know, I just saw something, but yeah, you don't have to ask permission to be happy. That is the reason why God has given you this life and the free will to go about, to experiment, explore how all the ways that can be. There just really is no other objective here but for you to be happy. And you're given certain gifts sort of come forward in your life. Some are developed, but those gifts give you the confidence to pursue that happiness, or the various forms of happiness that you could achieve through the gifts that you have. So what? Why not say, what can I do? What am I supposed to do? Well, why not? What could I do with this? And how could I express this in a way that would make me happy? What would that look like? And then what do I need to do in order to get in alignment with that? As opposed to, okay, tell me what's going to happen in my future. Okay, God, I don't have any money. Am I going to get money tomorrow? And when you ask that question, you're like, you can feel that, as if the universe is going, whoo, that's a tall order for your brain, for your emotional, mental, spiritual. That's a tall order for you to ask of yourself, because the thing is, guess what? That interference or that resistance, that little bit of resistance you feel, is all about your disbelief about that. So how are you going to have a positive experience doing a reading or getting a reading for someone about questions like that? And then if they tell you, what the next problem is? Now you're wondering how you're going to know. See? And now you put yourself in this oblivion. You're putting yourself out there in this, we'll call it this oh gosh, it's like you're out of circuit, so to speak. You're living in some non-reality, that because the present is what's real. That's here and now. And from this now, you can make a decision and then start charting a path towards a goal that you wish to achieve. But when the other way, you're just waiting. Somebody tells you this is going to happen, and then now you're just wondering, you're waiting. And that drives you crazy, and you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. You're not concerned about the opportunities and the things right in front of you, unless something forces you to be busy, like some kind of work that you usually aren't happy with because you don't have that. It's a real troubling way to live life if you think about it. Okay. All right, so let's take a deep breath and let's just center. Let me. I saw some questions, and I'm sorry, it's just like hard to keep up with those and to not keep this from going for too long. So, all I can tell you about, Raylene, about this flowing thing is love. Like, the love flows. Your heart, you know what I'm talking about? And when you're speaking to someone, you can feel that's you're connected with them. And so the love you're feeling is the love that is flowing through them as well. And you have to trust that. The words that are inspired to you, and everything is inspired. So when you don't feel inspired, you're not channeling that love. You're usually not even aware of the inspiration or the love. You're afraid. You're thinking, you're in your ego. You're worried about how you're going to offend them. And that is even if the energy is there for you to do it, you're still in a state of resistance, which means you're not going to be able to process it. So you got to wait and find that way that works for you. Okay. Where you can be at peace and accept. Maureen, what if you ask their higher self for permission or assistance, but don't feel anything? Do you continue by asking if it's in their best interest or highest good? Do you not proceed? So when I ask another person's higher self, I usually see something like an X or a no. The X means no. I just get this no kind of feeling, a visual. And that tells me something, that if it's another person, I'm doing a reading for a person, and then that comes up, that tells me that that person is not interested in dealing with this. So this person is on their own. And that's why, instead of trying to figure out what other people are thinking, you should be thinking about what works for you. What do I need from this relationship, and lining up with that. And the only reason people are scared to do the creating thing is because in a situation like that, they don't want to hear that this person is not right for them when their own inner guidance is telling them that. Even when you ask the question, is this the right person for me? It's almost like you already know. And if it's not them, it's you that you're doubting and that you have doubts about. And that's not their fault. So that's why trying to predict the future just takes you out of yourself, and you're not knowing yourself. So when you do a reading to create, this is about knowing yourself. Know thyself, right? That's that ancient proverb, know thyself. And predictive readings do not do that for you. It doesn't help you to know anything. Let's see. See positive energy for your question isn't too, okay. I think that's just a statement. Okay. All right. So here we go. Let's begin. So take out your cards, and we'll just do. I'm gonna have to watch. So let's just first because I don't know, when I'm doing these live chats, I feel a lot of energy here. So yeah, I just don't feel anything, Raylene. It just feels awkward to talk. That's what it feels like. All right, so let's take a deep breath. And what I'm going to say to you is, really, you have to learn to trust yourself. That's you must have an extraordinary gift that is very frightening. And I know what that's like. So you have to just let go of the questions and trust what you know. So, like, for instance, you could start off by sort of be a little bit more realistic for you. First, say, I think I saw this, and so therefore I'm just going to go with that, and that'll sort of subdue the anxiety about how do I do this? What do you say? How does this work? How does this go? I think I heard this, and I do think I understand it. And what's going to happen? It's going to increase. It's just going to increase. That one day you're going to stop saying I think, because it's going to feel so good to you that you're going to say, okay, this is what I'm seeing. But first you may have to say I think, but anything but what is this? I don't know. Or in your head, oh my God, I don't think I know. I don't think I get that. Just don't think those. First you're going to catch yourself doing it, and just stop and correct and say I think. Okay. So let's take a deep breath in through the nose slowly. Hold it for about the same count, and then release. Let's take another deep breath. Release. And what's interesting, just continue breathing. What they're showing me is, as you do this, they start off with a lamp. It was very small, and there was a lot of shadows around the lamp. And as the lamp, for me, means enlightenment, the more breath you took in, the brighter the lamp and the lampshade grew. So you expand your consciousness, you expand your reception, your receptivity, like a satellite. You expand it to take in more information, to process and integrate, and to help you to digest more information. And you also draw into you that love is what they wrote, but that divine love. And now you may begin to feel your own energy. Just keep breathing. I'd usually do 5, hold for 5, and 5 out. And you may feel the energy expanding all around you. You may feel like a little buzzing, like of sound or high-pitched frequencies. There's many ways that you may connect. You may feel a pressure or warmth around you. If you feel nothing, just focus on your breath and focus on how it's soothing and relaxing. And wherever you're feeling tension, you breathe. You don't try to get rid of anything, but you just give that area your attention with this process, this practice of breathing, of observing. And what will unfold will be information, clarity, like the light bulb turning on. And then pay attention to your feet, feeling the energy beneath your feet. You can probably feel your earth star chakra just expanding. You can put your attention on that chakra, which is a beautiful silver orb. And all of your chakras are spinning. But you want to just really feel connected to the earth, to the generosity of the earth. So breathe into your feet, that same rhythmic breath. Out through the nose. And now just listen to the question for a moment. And call up the energy grid for your higher consciousness, your monad I am presence, your higher self, and your soul. As you're focusing that awareness to this question, what spiritual lessons are coming into my awareness as a result of the coronavirus? And just shuffle your cards. And then just trust that whatever card that you pick is right for you. Okay? So take a look at your card now. And this card, when I did this kind of practice with this same card, but take a look at your card. Look at the pictures. Look at the number and the suit and what that might mean to you. If you have an oracle card, look at the message at the card on the bottom of the card. And if there's any pictures, just see what comes to you. If there's a color that reaches out to you. And then just jot down some thoughts about what that card means to you. So while you're doing that, I'll just share mine. Mine is the Six of Earth. And so the number 6 is about community, cooperation, harmony, and Earth, the physical plane. And one of the things is that what I see here is an energy exchange, that she has this bouquet of flowers that she is giving or receiving from this. No, so let's see who this is. So she has her hand out to receive the money that someone is giving her for the flowers that she's selling. And everything here that she's selling, looks so healthy and so vibrant. And, she has this look on her face of, just contentment, because she knows that she's in alignment with the work that she's meant to do. And, the money that she's receiving for that, she knows that she's offering value. And so that she knows and senses the fair exchange of energy here. The person who is giving the money is kind of looking at some other things. She's looking elsewhere. She's not making that connection. And so it's really important to make the connections, you know, to really be aware and appreciate, be present with the exchanges. So I see this as just being the, you know, in myself and being aware, and everyone being aware of the acts of love that we're engaging. Be present with them. Like before, we didn't used to always be present with them, right? We were just doing things. We're just buying, and we weren't really thinking about whether or not this was something that we needed. It was valuable to us. So, okay. All right, and let's see. Did everybody start sharing what your card was? And so please share your card. Well, a queen, if you don't have a card, it's fine. You know, you can just be present, and you can also just, you know, when the question comes up, just notice like any feelings, or, you know, the four clairs. Do you have a vision, or does an image come to your mind, or do you imagine an image? Even if you don't see like what you think is clairvoyance. Did you hear a sound, or did you feel a sensation, or smell something when I read that question? Okay, thank you, Maureen. Yeah. So, Maureen, you got the 6 of water and the 9 of fire. Okay. And just write down what you think it means to you about what's coming into your awareness during the coronavirus. And it'd be interesting to see what we're all getting. Okay, 3 of spades, Cheyenne. Interesting. Ace of Pentacles paired with Kindred Partnership Oracle card. Okay. Okay, great, Queen D. Bridget, the Death card plus 5 of Coins. So they came together. Wow, okay. So changes, a rebirth, a reawakening in your around money, around lack and things like that. Rachel, the Ace of Pentacles paired with, okay, an Oracle card, Kindred Spirit. So partnership. So maybe there's a potential new partnership, or some kind of something coming, you starting something. Yeah, okay. All right. 8 of Cups, Julia. Okay. And if you can, when we go through the next ones, you know, just a little bit of key words of what you think it means for you. I wonder why your comments keep getting retracted here, Raylene. Let's see. I don't know how to undo it. There's no way for me to undo it. Okay. All right, so let's go to the next question, and keeping, you know, just keeping the energy, just keep breathing. And this question says, how can I best channel my passions at this time for the greater good and my own personal fulfillment? Okay. How can I best channel my passions at this time for the greater good and my own personal fulfillment? Interesting. All right. Mm, all right. I'll be a good boy and and share. But I forgot. I put the other card back in the deck. I should have left it out. Let's see. Where is it? Okay. It wasn't too far in. Okay. So the card I pulled for how can I channel my passions at this time. So I got the 3 of fire. So the 3, she's this dancing that she's doing is sort of creating this energy, and you see these orbs kind of coming out of this dance. So I saw a book open, and then I saw the funny thing was I hate to say this out loud, but like a man sort of going to the bathroom outdoors. So it's so weird. And like that is something like I would never do, and would be greatly afraid to do. So the only reason I could think about why they're putting that together is like maybe, but yeah, it's very bold for him to do it, right? So if it's about writing a book for me or doing some kind of written work, you know, wow, because the 3 of fire is something about usually something coming in, or you're putting something out there, and so she's stirring something up. She's giving birth to it. She's stirring it up energetically with fire. So it's but this contrast thing is sort of like. The first thing that comes to me when I see it is like, oh, I would never do that. Like, I'm totally afraid to do that, even if the urgency is there. It would never happen. So somehow not letting some kind of fear get in the way of this goal or fulfilling the goal about do some kind of written project or something like that. So that this would be the best way for me to channel my passions at this time is through some form of writing, and maybe not being afraid to go in the direction that I'm uncomfortable with. Okay. All right. All right. So the first one I see for me personally, the first card is that I'm really coming more into balance with, offering what I do in exchange for payment, and I think it just goes even deeper than that. That I've just been very aware of the changes that need to happen within us all, as well. So, okay. So just when you get, yeah. So you're not worried about feeling exposed, right? So what cards did you get? Start sharing that with us if you feel comfortable. And for this question, and what a few words about what it meant to you. Now, in this little time that we have, it's better when you sit down and you journal and you can really dig into it and just go stream of consciousness. We just don't have enough time for that here. So, but this really helps when you do that. 7 of Cups, create, decide. Okay? All right. All right. So, does anybody else have anything to share? All right. Well, we'll go on. Great, Cheyenne. Okay. All right. So you even in your journaling, you could even draw another question in that same area to get more information, but instead of saying what should I do, ask a question that kind of creates. So for instance, since I would probably ask a question, not what am I supposed to write about, but um, how can I access, let me see, how can I, what would allow me to access the wisdom and knowledge or outline or whatever for this book, so I may get something that speaks to, I'm just thinking out loud, the Three of Swords, and that may mean that I may say to me, I need to dig a little deeper into my own personal pain and not be afraid to expose that. That would be the way. So, and then you journal about that, and then another question would pop up. You may think to yourself, well, I don't know if I could do that because what would people worried about what people would think, and so you may ask another question like how can I work around this block, and then journal. And once you do it, you're going to reach a point where it's like, okay, I feel like I know what I need to do. All right, let's go to the next one because this is really going to go way too long. But the mental. So, what am I struggling to express or communicate during this time? And just take a deep breath. What am I struggling to express or to communicate at this time? Oh, the Ace of Fire. So I saw like a banner. I saw a tree that had a very thin trunk, and a group of people in white. Ancestors or angels, I don't know. Or it could be, it's not the Brotherhood. So when I saw the banner, I was thinking about my brother was asking me he was going to help me, he wanted to update my logo, and then I know I needed to do some things on my channel. So, and this is just telling me that there's some new opportunities that I'm trying to work on, and that I'm struggling with how to find the details or something like that. And the tree with the thing was like there's this connection that when I think about it, I must be getting myself out of alignment. Because I'm worrying about, instead of focusing on the what I'm passionate about and how that would serve, I'm thinking about how to reach what would people prefer, that kind of thing. And so that's the wrong way to go around it. But this gives me a sense that about a new opportunity, and that whatever's coming up inside of me, like with this card that has the snake kind of just coming out of this egg and the fire in the background. So this inspiration, and so the thing is to just go with the flow, trust the interactions and things like that. All right, so let's see what you are coming up with. All right, Maureen, the wheel, Archangel Michael. Am I ready to move forward? Okay. So And that could possibly be okay. And then the question could be, then how can I prepare myself to be ready to move forward, or what are the ways, a creative question. The word late, I feel like I starting things that I really want to do at a late age. Okay. Bridget, Eight of Cups, about leaving, searching for happiness. So is this something you're having difficulty communicating or expressing, that you wish to make these changes? All right. Queen D is like the word late. So yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm just looking at the question and what you wrote there. What am I struggling to express or communicate during this time? And the word late comes up for you. Okay. So that could be really an ego thing that's just making you feel like, well, there's no need of me doing this because it's already too late. So you want to be aware of ego, that expression of the ego coming out, rather than what is guidance saying to you and how you really feel. If you really love this, it's never too late, right? Okay. Okay. All right. All right, let's go to another question. Number 4, which is the emotional. What feelings are surfacing, and what kind of energy am I creating as a result? And also look at all of this in the context of, this is all the time of what's going on and the lessons that are coming out during the coronavirus. So you may want to go back and look and say, okay, what am I struggling to express or communicate? Like, what's trying to come out because as a result of the coronavirus? Now we're going to look at what emotions are surfacing. What kind of energy am I creating as a result? So like, what am I feeling emotionally now as a result of the coronavirus? All of this is sort of coming out of, and you may want to go back and look at that, each question through the result of the coronavirus and being in your life in the world right now, and how is it impacting you? Okay, so what feelings are surfacing and what kind of energy am I creating as a result? What kind of feelings are surfacing? Okay, so I pulled the 6 of water, and it's interesting because my vision a little bit contradicted the last thing I saw, where I saw, my legs, and not my legs, but someone's legs, and the kneecaps were slowly sort of swelling. So that would tell me something about a blocked emotion. So that this may cause may cause one to sort of, kind of stagnate emotionally. So at the same time, because this card is 6 of water, there may be memories that are surfacing as a result, memories of past, things in the past, or emotional stuff from the past coming up and being healed and celebrated by this. Like in this card, there's the circle of people of support. So there may be some healing energy coming up around this emotional stuff. So these blocks of maybe releasing is coming up into awareness and then being released. Okay, fire, happy to be working from home, but still working on procrastination to complete projects. Let me see, I gotta switch over here. Okay, forgiveness for Raylene. Procrastination to complete projects I have started, and once I do, I think I will be ready for the next step. Okay. Anyone else? All right. And we have one more. I hate to rush, but you can go ahead, you can still go ahead and put up whatever you're starting to write. Okay. You got the Ace of Fire. Amy. Kyoko. Seven of Swords. Interesting. That's the card that came up in today's weekly reading. And, seven is about discovery, self, reflection, examination. So you may find yourself being kind of aware, or discovering some things about in your thought patterns, some things that kind of sneak up on you or something like that. Because it's a possibility of what that could mean. Okay. So reverse Queen of Cups, you're going you can look at it as an internal, you can read reverse in so many different ways. And one way is to look at it as is that the energy is turning in on itself, so that now all that nurturing you give, it's now being projected inward to the self, which is what might be needed, so that you can turn all that healing of the Queen on those, on that Five of Swords energy. Okay, the Justice card. Oh, so is the Seven of Swords another one? Okay, maybe I'm not. This is the Justice card for your emotional one, maybe. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and go to the last one, the Earth. And what activities help bring more joy in my life so that I can feel creative and productive? What activities will bring more joy in my life so that I can feel creative and productive? Just take a deep breath. Just be aware. The Six of Fire. Boy, I have 3 sixes here. So the Six of Fire, and they're out at a campfire, dancing and playing music and so forth. And what I kind of saw was the person with the knees again, but a tree was within his knee, and a sword and a crystal around his neck. And I was thinking, getting out more in nature, but definitely something that's kind of difficult is getting out. And what I see in all these cards with the sixes is I see all this community, and connecting with people. So I'm gonna have to get a little bit more creative in connecting with other people. Maybe I can go outside and call up friends and go on a chat and things like that. I haven't really been doing that because I've been so focused on really the channel, and I need to probably take some time to focus on my collection of friends and tribe, and yeah, and getting out more in nature. I can easily be a bit of a hermit. So you can then take a look and see, like, you got all those cards there. Hi, Pamela. Wonderful. And yeah. Let me see. There's something you said, Pamela. Take time to heal during the great pause. Yeah. So yeah. So this is look at the cards that you pull. See if there's any patterns. Like all these sixes that I had, and then I noticed that the community of people were in them. Kind of just see if you got it. And then the suits, like I have also 3 cards from the fire suit. So that deals with my passions and what I'm passionate about, and inspiration and all that kind of stuff. You can look at the direction you may, if you notice any kind of interactions between the people in the cards, either they're similar or how the cards are looking, if they look like they're looking at another, which cards are facing forward. So in that position, like, oh, now I may have just moved these out of position. I think this was the Ace of Fire was the emotional one, and like, because he's facing me, it means be more present with those emotions that are coming up. The 3 of Fire, she was doing the same thing, so she was facing me, present. I forgot, this was the mental. So again, confronting or dealing with something would be one way to look at that. When they're all turned in a circle like that, and those sixes, it's kind of like, it just sort of talks about a social circle for me. Okay, Don, great. And Don, since you're here, I have pulled out I remember you from last week. So this is the Gaian Tarot box. You wanted to know what it looked like. And it's by Joanna Powell Colbert. But this is published by Llewellyn, and I think it's out of print. You may check on her website and see if she has it. It's not out of print with Schiffer, though. Schiffer has it. And as I mentioned, Schiffer basically added, the border is there, but they made it a little bit bigger, and they put these little blue things on the side, and I don't know why. I don't like it. But if you like the deck and the pictures, then it's worth it then, right? Because it's, yeah. So, all right, so everyone, so what I would encourage you to do is to go back through this with some more time, journal. What cards you picked, I would stick with the cards. What I would do is sit down and journal. It's not good to do redo readings. If you do that, that means you're not grounded. It means that you're not ready to really look and see what's being said to you. Because any card can really answer your question, especially with tarot. So you just have to sit down. Like, I'm going to have to sit down and think about these a little bit more. And you just connect into the energy grid for the reading, or you can call up the energy grid of this particular card, and you can get right back in there. Just breathe, relax, and ground and reconnect with that card. Journal. First start off looking at the cards. You don't have to do the intuitive aspect first. Just look at the cards. See, notice any things that strike you as it relates to that question. And remember, this is about just everything that's kind of going on with you now as a result of the coronavirus. So you're looking at these different bodies, spiritual bodies or etheric bodies. You're looking at them and seeing what is moving happening on this level of you as a result of what's going on. So the question was, saying like the one question, for instance, saying, what am I struggling to express or communicate during this time? This is I understand it as a result of the coronavirus. So that when you look at your card, that'll make that connection. Okay? All right. So everyone, I send you lots of love and thank you for joining me. And I hope this has been helpful to you. You can't cover everything in this, but maybe if we go deeper, maybe if like a course, if you'd like me to create a course on like say for this, then I could go deeper into this. Okay? All right. So saying goodbye to everyone and have a good week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye, Julia. Bye, Marlene. Don, Bridget. Bye-bye. Marianne, Pamela. Great to see you again. S. Good to see you as well. Bye-bye. Maureen, thank you very much. Rachel, Kyoko, thank you. Amy, good to see you again. Bridget, thank you. Raylene, Lula Maria. Okay, now I got to go to the bottom now. Regina, thank you. And Cooper. All right, bye-bye, everyone. Love you.